We'd like to welcome each and every individual to the Voices of Integrity podcast for the Top Gun Sales Boot Camp training. Let's dive right in. Laura, what you got?
I had 21% yesterday.
Okay. Are you as excited as I am to get the graphs and the charts?
I don't know. Probably not.
Your double analytic would like it. I think once you experience it, I don't know, maybe you've got different people in your life than I do, but a lot of people in my life, they're not the most consistent. They're not the most disciplined. Um, Seems like you put a lot in, and sometimes you wonder. Like for Ben out there, it's fascinating to me on his comment on the Top Gun and and so graphs, spreadsheets, like they just work. They just do, and they're consistent, and they're faithful, and they're hardworking, and they do what you tell them to do, and they don't it doesn't slip back. It's just always moving forward. And so I think you're gonna like it. I think it's gonna help to reveal the truth. I think it's gonna help to reveal the truth and in being able to go through it. So my hope is that you will learn to go ahead and um enjoy benefit spreadsheets as much as I do, because they're cool. They're cool. Anything else you got, Norm?
Not right now.
Okay. Kenny, what you got?
I don't think I have anything for today.
Kenny's got so much it's overwhelming to him, but he's no problem. He's got a wingman, and so he's got his. It's insane how much he's got today. I mean, crazy. But we'll swing back around to him. Luke, what you got?
So today I'm meeting with someone. His wife has I don't know, for the last 2 years had a tumor in her head, I think. Anyway, my heart goes out to him, and to do the project, I haven't looked at the project, but to do the project they want to do, they need to loan money. Like that just goes against my grain. Um, so what do you do in that situation where it's, it's like, eh?
Yeah, and so you were raised in a similar environment that I was, and so just hate debt, just hate it, you know. And so, how old are they, roughly?
40s, 50s.
Okay. So that's pretty young to have a brain tumor, but it can come when you're an infant. So brain tumors are pretty whatever. Um, so it's great. I love that you have, empathy, compassion for them. I think I cracked the code, at least part of the code on empathy. I don't think very many people have it actually. I think that I think that the way to crack it is find out. I'm not saying you have to go ahead and cause the pain, trigger the pain, invoke the pain on somebody else. But it's interesting where you can go ahead and, like, if I irritate any one of you, not that I would ever do that, but if I did, hypothetically, um, and I've kind of figured this out about myself. Like, if somebody frustrates me, and Teresa, Kenny, you and Luke know Teresa. she's the one that she's the first one that really years ago, over a decade ago, I think it was, that she really helped me to understand this. She said that she was reading a book on sensitivity, and I'm like, okay. She said, because I'm really sensitive. I'm like, really? You think you're sensitive? She's like, yeah. I'm like, wow, okay. It's like, you don't think I'm sensitive? I'm like, I mean, you're sensitive to yourself and your own feelings, yes, but No, not to me, you're not. It's like, what do you mean? I'm like, Teresa, you irritate the living daylights out of me. Yes, I irritate you back, but my irritation is almost always what it has with her is a response to you irritate me. You know what? I'm going to irritate you back. I just am. So I don't want to. So what you do on on the, um, on the empathy is you get it locked in where somebody's really worked up about something. And then go ahead, and when they do that to you or do that to other people, you go ahead and say, remember how you remember how you felt when that happened? So I've got things on each one of the three of you. And it's not to pay back, it's not weaponization, it's just, you know, pay attention. Learn how to feel what other people feel. So, Luke, I don't ever want you to lose what you have. So I love that you want to consider people and not have them into debt. I want you to have compassion for people that have hard situations. Don't ever lose that. Don't ever grow up from that. Don't ever grow out from that. Just don't. With that being said, you probably didn't see their tax return.
I did not. No.
You don't see their bank accounts.
Nope. Did not.
So you don't know where they're at financially.
Mm-hmm.
So did you know really, 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 really wealthy people go into debt massively, and it actually makes sense for them often?
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's fascinating. This is where it's good. It's good when you're young to realize how little you know. There's actually a system out there to be humble. Did you guys know that?
Nope.
Yeah, I'd go through it if I were you guys. For sure. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? I'm looking for it. Oh, here it is. This one right here. This is a system that a guy developed to keep himself humble. Any questions any of you have?
Nope. I don't think so.
So here's a question you guys have. Wait a minute. Have you guys ever heard of anybody in your lives? I mean, granted, you're young, but have you guys ever heard of anybody in your life that's ever had a system to keep themselves humble?
No.
Yeah, I haven't either. Like, see, when things stand out, when things stand out and they stand out, you're like, what? Like, what kind of a guy would create a system to keep themselves humble?
Somebody who's very self-aware.
I don't know, maybe. That kind of explained it because I know this guy personally. He's a pretty cool guy. And I was thinking, well, he must not have a wife and kids, but this guy actually does. so, 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 but for sure. Oh, Luke, this is very important for you.
Okay.
Very important for you. Glad that you brought this up. It triggered stuff. So you want to be a professional speaker,
Right.
okay? So as a professional speaker, you'll learn how to seduce everybody from the front of the room. You'll learn how to get people to come up to you, and they will say things that are absolutely insane. When you get good at it, you will mesmerize, hypnotize the entire room, and people come up and say, "Luke, you're just amazing. Like, wow, you're just phenomenal. Like, oh, man, that's amazing." And so the guy's a professional speaker. And so you have a bunch of strangers coming up and telling you, like musicians, anyone popular, anybody that, like YouTube people and TikTok people that are, they have millions of followers or whatever. You get a bunch of people that go ahead and say you're so amazing. You start buying into your own press releases. So press releases where you announce, something like a new product, a new service, something happening, all of those kind of things. And so when you have people that go ahead and give you a lot of praise, you start buying into those praises. You start buying into how amazing you are. But this video, it'll stop you. I think it should stop anybody in their tracks who thinks they're smart, who thinks they're brilliant, they're caring, they're loving, they're a good student. Like anybody who thinks anything of themselves watching this video, I would think, would go ahead and stop them in their tracks. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So in answer to your question, it's good that it's good, but I don't know what you do with that because you don't have the information. The reason wealthy people like Elon Musk or, Bill Gates or Tim Cook, any of these guys, they have massive amount of money in stocks. And so what they do is they borrow against their stocks. And so there's tax strategies that make sense to go ahead and have debt. Now, personally, I'm like you, get rid of the debt, but if I went ahead and had $1 billion, I don't know, maybe I would have a different opinion. I don't know, not sure. So I think that it's good, but I don't know that, I don't know what's the size that they're having debt.
Around 15,000.
Yeah. So there's a whole bunch of different reasons that you could have debt. And so I don't think that's something probably that you, I don't think that that's something that you probably, I mean, I don't know. I don't even know how you'd approach something like that. I mean, would you give them the financial freedom booklet? Would you go ahead and say to them, hey, I got a thing against debt. I'm fine with you going in debt. I don't know your financial situation. I just want to, like, how do you go ahead and, one of the hardest things I've had in my life is to convey my heart to people. What do you mean, Mark? Yeah, good question. Like if your heart, is, I don't know, really pure or something, and other people's hearts are not as much, they're going to judge you. Or they're going to feel like they're being judged by you, which is not the case at all. You're just concerned. That's where you use leverage, in the booklet maybe. And we don't have something in there on that, which would be really good, where you could go ahead and go to the workbook and you could go ahead and, I don't know if you guys have got a sponsorship in there. I think you do. when should you go ahead and when should you borrow for a home improvement?
That actually be something excellent. Put in
Right?
there.
Then you could just point to it and say, "Hey, we sponsor this and this is good." I mean, I just love it. It's just absolutely. I mean, that's the vision of Dreamscape Creation. It's not just about making money. Like Alvin yesterday and Ernie, it was fascinating to meet with them. And so, so Alvin and I got into a little bit of a spirited conversation. He likes that. He likes that. He said something. We are talking about bad clients, and he says, "Yeah, you don't want any bad clients." I said, "Actually, I want one." He says, "No, no, you don't." I said, "No, I actually do." And he's like, "Well, that makes no sense, Mark. You don't want one." I said, "No, they they force you to go ahead and learn and grow." And so having how do you leverage things? How do you go ahead if you're not in a position like the Navy sniper principle? If you're not in a position, especially being so young, you've got to consider all of the different factors, like the Apache helicopter principle. Like you've got like if we take the more we take ownership for and the more powerful, like pretty confident you guys will never ever hear me say I didn't mean to hurt you. Why is that?
Because they're not self-aware or they're clunky.
Well, I don't. When somebody says, "Mark, you hurt me," it's stupid, I think, to say, "Well, I didn't mean to hurt you." Of course, they're not thinking you meant to hurt them. They're not going to say that probably. So you didn't mean. So often, people that hurt a lot of other people, they get bad. They get bad habits. And they reveal their own heart. They're just sloppy. So it reveals they probably hurt a lot of people, and that's the reflex, like because they flip it on you. They do a flip and they say, "Well, I didn't mean to do it. I didn't think you meant to do it." Like I didn't think you meant to do it. So you've got to like this is stands like you guys. Oh, I wish I could teach you guys to be students. Like, but I don't know how. Like you're like there's this guy. He was in New Mexico and probably one of the highest educated realtors I've ever seen in my life. And so he's a realtor and he's got his doctorate in education. He's got his master's degree um, in psychology, I think it was. And he had his bachelor's degree in like mechanical engineering or something. I'm like, dang, like, wow. So he had his doctorate in education. So whenever you find somebody with a master's or a doctorate, like I have 3 bachelor's degrees, they're okay. But master's is the next level higher and doctor is the next level higher. So I asked them, what's the one thing you learned? You guys could do that with my three degrees. Say, Mark, what's the number one thing you learned in finance, management, marketing? And what you would do is you would go ahead. You don't have to pay anything. You don't have to go through any. You don't have to go through any of the time. Here you're getting the best of the best, and it's just free. It's just all you got to do is ask. Just be a curious student. Like it's not that hard. And so I said to him, I said, "So what's the number one thing? What's the number one thing that you learned with your doctorate in education?" See, I respect people that have gone through things to acquire things. So I respected him because he went through a lot to get his doctorate. I mean, I would not have done that. So I respect that. I respect Nora that she went through to become a pilot, like a lot. I respect Kenny that he's going through to go ahead and become a police officer. Like people who go through a lot of work to become really, really good at what they do. Oh, I respect that a lot. And so I said to him, I said, "What's the number one thing you learn as a doctorate in education?" He says, "How to be a good student." I said, "Really?" And he's probably, I don't know, I think he's a little older than I am, maybe, you know. So I was probably, I don't know, late 40s at the time. And he was probably 50, 55. I said, "Really?" And he's like, "Yeah, how to be a great student." I said, I think I might be a pretty good student. Like, how about if you and I have a little bit of a competition? And you guys know what he said?
Nope. What did he say?
He's like, "It's not about competing, Mark." Now, I haven't acquired that yet, that level of student. I don't know. Kind of sounded like, you might have had a little bit too much education there. See, there's a lot of people out there that I'm a really good student. Are you really? Like, are you? Like, have you studied? Have you really, like, who's the smartest person in the room? Do you know that? Did you figure that out on your own? Or did somebody else teach you that? So the smartest person in the room, I think, is the person who's the best student because they're walking out of that room smarter than what they came in. I didn't get that in my 3 degrees. I didn't get that even from Tom or Peter or Alvin. I didn't get that from anybody else. Who did I get that from? I don't know, observation. Or maybe kids, young children, studying them. Maybe. I mean, it's acquiring it from life. Anything else, Luke, you got?
No,
Who's calling in from 608?
that's Nathan.
Nathan? Nathan, you're on mute now. Nathan, maybe Ricio's there. Do either of you guys have anything for the Top Gun sales boot camp training that you want to cover? You'll need to be off of mute. Anybody else have anything else today?
Nope.
There's a whole bunch of stuff. There's a whole bunch of stuff. And so Kenny didn't have anything today. Is it because he's overwhelmed? He just like he's overwhelmed and I mean, like one of the things he could have is, the ratchet principle. Like he could be asking about that for sure. Like, I don't know. I've been thinking about that ratchet principle. Like I grow and then I slip back. I take, 2 steps forward and, 3 steps back. That's not good. We talked about that with Alvin yesterday too, which was fascinating. And so, he could go ahead and talk about, responsibilities. Like, how does a single guy go ahead and, prepare for wife and kids? Like, how's that going? He could talk about that. That connects back into the Top Gun sales boot camp training. I mean, there's so much, his life, his very life. This is not being dramatic. It's just being smart. His life may depend on his ability to sell. Very life, not his income, his life. And he's going to be taught a lot of things in law enforcement training, like a lot. So he's going to be taught a lot. Sorry, there was a mosquito irritating me. So, but they obviously don't train a lot too in certain areas. Do you know what those areas are, Kenny?
Probably being humble.
Yeah, good. I wouldn't disagree with you there. I would not disagree with you there. That's good. That's really good. Don't ever forget that. Don't ever forget where you came from, and don't ever. Yeah, good. What else?
Not sure.
What's that?
Not sure.
So they don't go ahead and they're not effective in training in mental health. So there's more law enforcement people that die of suicide than die on the job. Like like getting killed by somebody. Police officers are killing themselves more than other people are killing them. Is that a problem? Like you think that's a problem? Like, hello? Like, are we up in arms? Like what's going on there? The other thing is I don't know how good of a job they teach in driving. I'm not
What
sure.
is that?
Why is what?
Why did you say that?
Because I'm not sure, but I one of the highest causes of death in law enforcement is accidents.
I know there's a defensive driving class, but yeah, I don't know. I have no idea what it entails. What you
Yeah,
learn.
and I think that'll be good. I mean, they obviously have some training in both of those things. The mental health, I think, is the biggest thing. The driving is sometime, ooh, I didn't cover that in my driving podcast that I did once on how to do driving. And so when I first learned how to drive, it was the coolest thing in the world. We were out in the parking lot, had, cones, and we went ahead and gunned it. And then you had to control a skid and you had to go around it. It was so cool. Like, it was like, wow, that's really, you got a 3,000 pound steel going 60 miles an hour. You better know how to, like, you can lose control. So you're chasing people, you're chasing people. So obviously there's higher risk. But, do they go ahead and get young men that have testosterone and, might not go ahead and respect the speed limit, or they might push the vehicle more than they should or need to get an adrenaline rush? I don't know, right? So yeah, there's so much stuff. And so Top Gun Sales Boot Camp, like it's not just about sale, it's about life. And you're going to get these little nuggets all over the place, and working real hard to get it organized. So every experience is like, the most amazing experience, but sometimes the most amazing experience is the one that's you don't get any dopamine hit. You just enjoy. So always remember, we can accomplish so much more together than we ever could on our own. Have an amazing day. You guys are awesome. Bye bye.